Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lightweights. Come good with us. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Elgato Azul and Carolina Real Streamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Elgato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Elgato Azul. Next to me is our guest, Mr. Todd Barnes from Takedown.
How y'all doing?
Over the top of him is my partner in slime, Mr. Jamie Dunn. What's
Good
up,
afternoon,
boys?
everybody.
Good evening.
How you doing, brother?
Good night.
Doing good.
So, for those that don't know Todd, pretty much I think most of us in the catfish industry know of Todd. But Todd, tell us a little bit about yourself and your fishing.
I live in Clarksville, Virginia, right here on Kerr Lake. My wife, Jennifer Barnes, she's right here beside me. She don't want to show her face some reason tonight, but I love fishing. It's a passion I love doing, and you know, it's just it's something I love. You know, I put my hard work and effort in everything I do, especially fishing.
It's a lifestyle. Somebody said, man, it's an expensive hobby. I said, man, it's way beyond a hobby at this point. It's a lifestyle.
It is.
It is.
So,
It's
So
a lot of hard work.
Todd's the owner operator of Takedown Draggin weights. So Todd, how did you get into the dragon weight business?
We come here. You can explain it, bud, and my wife. We bought the business from Ben Abbott that first come out with this. Ben is a good friend of mine. He fishes with me a lot. We bought it.
We've had it a little over a year.
Yeah, a little over a year now. You know, the business has really grown. I tell you what, God has really blessed us with this business we have now. Good people. You know,
so many good people in the fishing industry.
yeah, a lot of good people in the fishing industry. You know, and then, you know, it's just people are so nice to us, you know, as far as the business. So kind, and, you know,
including Jamie and Rebecca.
Yeah, Jamie and Rebecca. They're real good people to work with, you know, helping us out and everything. Matter of fact, we met them, a couple years ago at CatCon?
Yep, at CatCon. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know, really great people. But, you know, I really wasn't ready for this business, and I kind of fell into it with Ben, and he threw it at me, and, you know, I told him, I said, let us pray for it. Let us pray a couple of days and think about it, and we end up with it, and I tell you what, it's been a blessing. It has.
We have made some awesome friends.
Yeah. Yeah, come on right here so you show your face.
The way y'all carry
I'm the voice behind the man.
Good seeing you tonight, girl.
Hey, y'all.
If I didn't know any better, I would think Jamie and Rebecca are y'all's brother and sister.
Hey, I take that as a compliment.
I do. They're good
people, man. Good people. I got much respect for the way y'all carry yourselves. Always professional. Never hear any slight bad vibe, negative crap coming out of y'all's camp. It's always good. Anything I've ever heard through the grapevine has always been good.
Well, we appreciate it. And
do.
The same for y'all. Like, all of the Carolina Lightweights team, everybody's so good. We actually, the tournament that we help with here at the lake, one of y'all's pro staff, I think.
Tommy Ruffin.
No, it's JT.
JT. Yeah.
Catfish
We love
Kid.
them. We love them.
Oh my goodness. And they speak so highly of y'all. And of course, we have a good experience with y'all and we haven't heard anything bad. And Todd said, we really need to let the community know that, even though we sell the same thing, we can still all enjoy each other's company and have conversations about good and bad and still get along, because at the end of the day, this is our business, this is what we do, but you have to be kind to people, you have to be good to other people in
You gotta
this
respect
world.
people.
Yeah.
It's good to have a kind heart. It generally it spreads. If you're a negative person, that spreads. So
Negativity spreads a lot faster than positivity.
That's it.
Positive people tend to have more positive people around them, and then the negative ones, they have a lot of negative stuff around them.
That's what we tell all of our pro staff. Like we're not on them about the advertising and all that. We just want them to represent our company, in a good, positive way. Don't be in drama. Don't make the company look bad by being in the middle of something. And we've not had, honestly, our pro staff has been awesome. We haven't had any problems with them. So
And the same way with Chris's. I mean, Jamie's. We deal with a lot of Jamie's.
Todd's not great with names, y'all.
Well,
I'm the same way.
Actually,
We do a lot.
call it my team. I put them together. So
Yeah. Hey, and they're great people. They're great people.
we did. It's by design, Todd. We wanted to make sure we had different variety of guys, family people, tournament guys. But the one thing, you need to be a nice person, an open person who's willing to help others, and then somebody who's respectful. I think that's important. And
that's a key word, brother. You said respect, man. And we were talking behind stage for there for a minute or two. Myself and Rebecca, we've got mad respect for Todd and his wife, and this I know it's likewise for me and Rebecca.
Absolutely.
And the whole and it's wonderful, and that's one thing I was so I was happy about tonight's show, man. We were talking, what can we do? And me and Chris, I was like, this would be an awesome show to show everybody, the respect for each other that we have, and how you can be, like you said earlier, be in the same style of business and get along and have a good time. And I know when we met at CatCon a couple of years ago, I walked up and introduced myself and stuff. It was respect from day one. And it's been that way until now also. And it's awesome to just show everybody, in the industry itself, that you could be two companies in the same thing and just enjoy each other's company.
And get along. Yeah.
That's it.
I think it's important to get along. I mean, I think I look at Todd as a friend, and
Todd looks at y'all the same way too.
And the same way with you. And you got the next generations coming up. Your son, that's the generations coming up. And
that's another thing, Todd, in this industry. I wanted to be able to, because it's catfishing it's moving rapidly, and some of it's not a pretty thing. And I want it to be something that's positive for him. I want to be a good role model for him to try to, so that it gives him the framework.
Right.
You never know if he's going to want to do if he's going to stay liking this, but I'm proud of what he's done, and I think he's on the right path. He's a wild little dude, but
well, I'm proud of him too. He catches some good fish. He does. To be young as he is, he should look back at that and say, hey, and just achieve and keep on doing what you put him doing, Chris, and just keep on carrying on the generation.
Yeah, it's not easy, Todd. You got a grandson.
Yeah.
6, and getting them trained up to be able to stay out there all day, and it's not an easy thing. There's a lot of things that you got to take into consideration when you got a little guy on the boat that
Absolutely.
Just you and your buddy fishing, and you don't have to think about those things. But I think now that he's 9, it's really starting to pay off, and he won't miss a trip. I mean,
That's good.
That's
That's
awesome.
good. Yeah.
That means you're doing it right.
in the morning. So he may be asleep by the time we get to the lake, but
He'll wake up when you get on
he's
that
up
water.
ready to go. And I tell him it's time to go. I say every time I say you want to go fishing, he's like, yeah. He rolls up and gets ready. So
Chris, it's awesome, because we take a lot of great pride in our youth angler program, and it's just just like this past year at CatCon, getting them all together and seeing the smiles, and you like you said, Todd, seeing that next generation come up, and just seeing the eagerness in their eyes, for the catfishing, wanting to,
I
do.
was surprised at how something that I didn't think was how proud that you could see that they were proud when we had them up there, and everyone was like oohing and awing them all. You could tell they were pretty proud.
Yeah.
That's just like you said, Chris. And I was, talking. And I had to cut it short and put Chris on the spot because I started tearing up.
I had a damn tear in my eye.
We didn't. We didn't get to make it to CatCon this year,
but that was a great thing y'all did.
We
it was.
did.
Well,
Tommy and JT, they were just.
That was something special. Yeah, I was glad to have been able to be there and see all that, and be a part of it. That was touching, seeing those kids together.
It goes to show all the parents and stuff. We encourage them. Always. Take the kids fishing. Get them out in the outdoors. Get them off the games. And just get out there and enjoy what good Lord has given us to enjoy. And Chris calls me, and I got my granddaughter and stuff that we watch a lot during the day, and she's getting ready to turn 3 months old, and I'm like, all right, girl, you ready to go catfish? I'm ready to get you on the boat now.
She'll have fun catfishing when she gets old enough.
That's the thing. I don't know what other states do it, but Virginia does it. It's like like bass anglers. They have the college degrees or whatever for fishing for bass and stuff.
Like the college teams.
College teams, and I wish every state would get into that.
Yeah.
But more like in the cat.
Our high schools have bass teams.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they had catfishing teams.
Yeah, I know.
But,
hey, it might come eventually.
Hey, Todd, that could be something we could we could go to the schools and work on for them.
That's right.
Try to push for them.
That's right. That'd be pretty cool.
It is, man. But like I said, it was something I was looking forward to tonight. It's like sitting around the campfire and us talking and stuff. It's like smiling and laughing and having a good time, being able to talk about a lot of stuff, and that's what it's about, brother. That's what it's about.
That's what it's about. Yes, sir. It is.
Yeah, I told Jamie, I was like, I'd like to kind of interview both of y'all, and get the side of the, my first question is, who's twisting up the weights over there at Takedown?
My wife does a lot of it. She does. We have a prep.
There's a very big similarity in what's going on over here with this other dude.
Yeah.
Over the top of you.
That's right. She does part of it, and then I finish it. But she
I
does
got
a
more
lot.
time at home than he does.
Yeah,
so
she does a lot.
A lot of the time I'll prep him.
Y'all partner
And
up.
if every once in a while, if he wants to go fishing and has weights to make, I'll be really nice and make weights and let him go fishing.
And I fish too much, I believe.
That's awesome.
He fishes a lot, but even when I can't go, I can help him with the weight so he won't feel guilty about it.
That's awesome. I always tell Rebecca, I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to doing the actual building part of the weights, because Rebecca, she does that part, and I get to put the little pretty ends on them and do all that decoration stuff to them, but she gets the hard part, because I don't know what she does or anything, because she's just got that touch with it, and
Yeah.
I can't give her enough credit for what she does. You know, I'm
That's
just the
right.
one that gets to sit up here and talk a little bit and look like I know what I'm doing, but she's actually the one that does all the hard work.
Hang out with Chris all the time.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it,
Yeah.
man.
It's time consuming. People don't realize how time consuming it is, but it's
It
very
is
time
because your
consuming.
hands have to touch every single weight. Like it's
Yeah,
not a
it's late. I don't what people don't really understand is how labor intensive it is to make one, and then how much it costs to make
That's
one.
right.
They're not cheap. It's not cheap
No.
to make one, and it takes time to make one. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
it's
Yeah.
time consuming, and then it's not like just repackaging crap from China and putting a sticker on it and reselling it.
That's
Yeah.
something that me and Todd have said to each other so many times. It's not like we just get to go home and put stuff in a pack.
Yeah,
Like when somebody orders something, we don't have them made ahead of time. We have all the stuff prepped, but we don't have them made because there's so many options. There's so many sizes, so many colors,
Yeah.
and it would just be a waste of material if we started making what we thought people would, So each time that somebody orders them, they're made to order like we make them once we get them, and I'm sure y'all probably have some that y'all can make ahead like us. Like I can make my keychains and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
We we actually got a little bit made up, but majority of the time it's with the orders and stuff, having to make them up and stuff because so many people like so many different colors,
Exactly
so
right.
many different ounces and stuff. So we pretty much try to we'll stay late in the shop at night. I've been out here 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Myself and Rebecca, making sure we can get the orders out that very same day. So it's time consuming, and a
Yeah,
lot of people,
it
like you
is.
said, it's all made in the USA.
Yeah,
Everything.
exactly right.
We pour our own little lead and everything, and it's time consuming. It really
Yeah.
is.
People ask me what's my dragon weights look like. I said I get all the leftovers. So whatever we have left over is what I make a
That's
dragon.
it. That's it. That's it,
I
man.
usually make him really pretty pink and purple ones.
Yeah, she do.
That's my way of getting back at him for going fishing without me.
That's it. I got more pink and purple on my boat than any other color. Oh
Yeah.
man. But I definitely don't mind it. I promise
Let's
you.
run through our chat real quick. Say what's up to
Sure,
everybody. I imagine we got some Todd's guys in here too, so we'll run through here real quick. We got Rich from Operation Vets with That says howdy howdy. What's up, Rich? Killer B says howdy y'all. Me and Killer B are hitting the river. We're going gator gar fishing Saturday. Trinity's flowing. Walt McCorkle says the bite is on. Richard Green says hello from Lake Livingston, Texas. What's up, Gadget Green? The Realist Fishing says, what's up, Slime Family? Can't wait to try out the new CLW tackle I got. Hopefully you catch a monster, bro. Tom Outdoors says, good evening, gentlemen. Got to fish with Tommy up at Texoma a few weeks ago. We had a good old time. Thanks for coming in, Tommy. Tommy Ruffin says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Tommy boy? Me and Jamie were talking about maybe getting you to come on one of these shows and talk about being a tournament director and how much fun that it must be. Operation Vets with Net says Todd ... Those two are two great peeps. Joel Moot says, what's up, fellow OVWN team? What's up, Joel? Welcome in, buddy. Todd and his bride are great folks, says Rich Segura.
Appreciate
John
it.
Wayne Calder says, what's going on, everyone? Jason Fuqua. My son would, I'm sorry to laugh, Jason, but my son would laugh at that because he's one of those kinds of kids. Says, good evening, y'all. Lewis Parker, evening, fellow cat fishermen and women. Alex Fishing says, what's up, y'all? John Wayne says, respect is the key. That is what it's all about. I'd agree, John. If everybody will respect their fellow, not just angler, but their fellow human beings, we won't have so many dang problems.
That's right.
Dan Weldon says, hello, draggers. Welcome in, Danny boy. Greg
What's up, bud?
Hayes says, what's up, guys? Welcome in, Greg. So Tommy says he's, well, it's till 11. Oh, sorry. I don't know what you're talking about there, buddy. Moving on down. Parker Pursuits, JP, what's up, buddy? Says, evening, everyone. Jerry's been on them high water fish on the Mississippi lately, just laying waste to the monsters. Tommy Ruffin says, what y'all did at CatCon was absolutely amazing. And seeing all those kids together and hanging out and how good time they were having was really special. I agree, Tommy. Brought a tear to my eye, and I don't get choked up too often.
That was great what y'all did. Absolutely.
Thank you, boss.
TJ
Thank you, brother.
Spam says, what's going on? Welcome in, TJ. Flathead Doty, this lifestyle demands dedication and resilience. It requires unwavering commitment and a strong work ethic. There's no room for half-hearted efforts or fleeting passions. One thing's for certain, we are passionate about whiskerfish. my people are like, dang, you really like fishing, don't you? JBN says, what's up, party people? Wesley Grubbs III says, hello, everyone. Richard says he enjoys teaching folks how to fish, especially the younger generation, getting them off the phone and keeping tight lines. I agree. There's something special about having kiddos, helping kiddos catch fish, and just seeing the excitement's cool. Eagle Eyes Juan Tienda, how y'all doing tonight, Slime family?
What's
I'm
up,
doing
brother?
great. All right, moving on down. I went backwards. I think we're caught up.
That's the thing. I can't do it.
Man, we got a great group of people in here tonight, Chris. Man, a lot of people stopping in tonight.
JBN says, looks like a great group of anchor fishermen.
I can't believe they would cuss at y'all like that.
I've actually been anchored the whole last month. So, well, last trip to Texoma, we drugged a crazy debris field, man. I don't know if y'all have been seeing the videos and crap for Lake Texoma, but man, it's been getting hammered with rain. We fished a debris field that was probably a mile long, about 200 yards across last trip. Tommy Anderson, he's like, man, I can't believe you're up here dragging this crap. It's pretty amazing. I mean, we got our planer boards stuck on logs.
That's crazy.
Times, you know, the drip weights made it through, but the planer boards wouldn't. But we had a good time. It was a lot of work fishing that debris.
I seen somebody post a while back about that lake, and it was getting hammered about a week ago.
Yeah,
Rain.
it's been getting hammered ever since. So I noticed they closed a lot of the ramps and they opened the floodgates wide open, and the ramps are most of the ramps are underwater now.
Is your bite turned on pretty good?
Man, it's spawn. The spawn is on. So there's still a few good ones, but man, most of the big ones are moving to spawn. Now, this cold rain, we had rain in the 60s. So I imagine all that spawning ground is cooled off. It may make them hold off. I didn't get to fish last weekend because we had a baby shower and just family stuff we had to do. So wasn't able to fish. And this weekend I'm going gator gar fishing because I figured the fish will be on the beds. And most of these lakes I can't even get on because the ramps were underwater. So.
Yeah.
Justin Cox says, what's up, fellas? Welcome in, Justin. So Todd, let's hear about the 100-pounder, man. Tell us how you caught it. What's the whole? Tell us how it all went down.
Tell us the secret spot too, brother.
Well, I'll tell you the spot. It was, I've been chasing a 100-pound fish for all my life. It's everybody's dream. And, you know, we marked these fish. We marked 4 fish on structure. Ben Abbott was with me, was fishing at night, and we drug across them. And luckily, the 115 bit. And it was it was like a dead weight. You fighting dead weight. There's no pull and drag. He's going to do what he wants to do, so you can't control it.
Yeah.
Was he swimming or was he just like dead weight?
Dead weight. He come up behind the boat about 40 yards, and I seen his head. And my biggest then was 84. And I told Ben, I was like, man, this is bigger than 80. I said, get ready. Here. And he's trying to video the whole thing. And I'm
put
like,
that video down, get that net, right?
It's like, put the net down. I mean, put the phone down, Ben. Put the phone down. And the fish come up beside the boat, and he just laid up. And I was like, Ben, this is him. This is a 100-pound fish.
It is
That's
him.
I've been waiting on.
He is him.
And I tell you what, he did a great job filming. He did. And netting. I don't see how in the world he held the phone in one hand.
That's cool that you got it on video for the memory.
That is.
You know.
Yeah. The only thing went in the net was his head. And that was it. And I jumped down. If you're watching the video, I jumped down and grabbed the other side of the net and throw him in the boat. We roll him in the boat. And Ben falls down. And I'm like, oh my goodness, man. Come on. I was like, this is crazy. But and then we went back. We had a tournament here the week after, and I had been out for 3 days marking the other 3 fish on structure. And I told Ben, he's like, where do you think we need to go? And I was like, look, there's 3 fish still on that structure, and they big fish. Well, God bless me. We went out. We got out there at 8 o'clock. We drug in 15 minutes. We had was an 82 in the boat.
Nice.
We turned around, went weighed him in, come back out, come back same place, drug through the same spot, and caught 151. Was it 51?
It was 51 or 2.
51 or 52 in the exact same spot. That was 3 of them fish out of 4 fish. And that's kind of, and y'all know yourself, marking fish and dragging through them, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to catch them fish a lot of times, but it was just amazing. We had 130
We're in
pounds.
the right place at the right time with the right bait.
That's right. That was right.
You forgot to tell them how you got it into how the whole thing happened when you got it weighed and everything.
Yeah, we started calling around. I got Curtis Weston, a good friend of ours, and we was at 1:30 at night. And I'm like, man, Ben, we got to get this fish. I'm gonna have to turn this fish back because I don't have a scale go over 100-some pounds. And I said, we're gonna have to turn this fish back. And he was like, no, we ain't. We're going to call. When we finally get in touch with Curtis, and Curtis like, look, man, I'll meet you at the boat ramp. I'm bringing a cattle trough there. I'm going to fill it up full of water. We're going to weigh his fish. So another guy I know, Brett Lewis, come down, and he had a little bit faster boat than I did. And we threw it in his boat, took off to the boat ramp, and weighed. Everything worked out good. It did. It fell in place. The fish lived, swam away.
That's a good feeling seeing it swim off.
That's it.
He wanted to go with it.
Yeah, I got in the water with it.
Oh yeah, you gotta. I'm gonna fish like that.
That's like that. You got to. Yeah. My main bait here is carp. I love carp. Red horse suckers. I have great luck off red horse suckers. But that's what I caught the fish off of. But
common carp.
It was off carp.
The fillet? What do you like? How do you like
a head of the size of a softball? No lie.
Okay, yeah.
I run big baits. I'm like you.
Yeah.
I run big baits. I mean, I run a 14, 15-inch piece of gizzard shad or a carp head
Yeah.
size of a softball,
Yeah, well, I call that a cannonball because
That's right.
That's what it feels
That's
like when it's
right.
almost hit you.
Todd, tell me, brother, when you first saw this fish come up to the water, man, up to the surface, what was your first thoughts, man?
Jamie, it was it was like a prayer answer. Please get in the boat.
Please, I hope, please be hooked in the corner of his mouth.
That's right. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I've seen this fish, and I'm like, I was so happy, and it's a fish for a lifetime. There's no questions to be asked. It's just, and I want to catch no more 100-pound fish,
It don't stop when you catch one.
Yeah, you can mark them all day long, but you're not guaranteed you're going to catch them.
That's it.
Yeah, so they only eat about an hour out of when they're that size, they eat about an hour out of the day. It's what some of the research says. And you got to be there on that hour. So
You're right.
And
exactly
you got to
right.
have what they want. You got to present it the right way. And there's a lot of things that got to go right, the way you hook the thing. And
yeah.
So
being picks me and a lot of people when they fish on my boat. I don't hit north on my trolling motor to go north direction. I have a layout on my phone on my navigation that I travel ledges and channels, and I do it by hand. I sit there with my controller.
Even though he has iPod.
I have iPilot. I sit there the whole time with my hand controlling that remote control which way I want to go, how tight I want to run to a ledge or whatever. It's kind of crazy.
Well, Todd, you say that, man. Actually, I do a lot of that myself. I like making sure I'm on 100% on a certain ledge. I want to ride it a certain way. And I know there's a lot of different, you can punch in and go with it. But I don't know. I guess it's just enjoying being able to, work that thing and making sure you're doing what you want to do with it.
Yeah. It's like Chris said, it's how you present the bait.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest. If you're really to really take it to the next level, presentation is key.
Yeah, that's right.
And it changes from day to day, but understanding what needs to be done for that day, when you see that fish and how he's orienting to whatever he's orienting to, you got to understand, all right, this is what, now it's speculation, but this is what I think, how I think he wants it, and kind of what he's waiting on. And then it's cool whenever it all works out and you're like, damn, all of that. And it freaking worked.
And Chris, you know how much I love playing with the speeds, so, I'm sitting there constantly pinning on what I want to see out my rods, playing with that speed, trying to get that reaction bite, or I'm trying to, that's another reason why I do like you do, Todd. I like being able to control that as fast as I can.
Yeah. So because I hear a lot of guys say, oh, yeah, you want to cover a lot of water. And I get that. You want to get your baits in front of a lot of fish. But when you see the fish that you want, it's more about precision and the presentation.
Right.
You got to put it right where it needs to be, and you got to present it just how they want it, or else you're not catching that fish. And I think when you're going for those really big ones like that, which I've never caught one that big, but I've caught a lot of good fish. And presentation is key. I believe that's what takes you over the top for the most part. Talking about chasing big fish.
People say a lot of times they'll be behind me dragging us and says, you look like you running a figure eight. And I say, I'm presenting the bait the way the fish wants it. I might go this way, and then because, you always got a board slacking. 9 times out of 10, when you got that backboard slacking, you're going to get a bite on that backboard. Yeah. I've always said that. I don't know about y'all, but
I think you're leaving it there for us. It's like, here's the way I look at it, Todd. When you're dragging, it's like presenting an injured bait fish. And if that thing's injured, then all of a sudden it stops. It's like, all right, that thing's in its dying throat. Let me go hammer that thing real quick. I believe when you make those little bit of changes like that, that tends to be what excites a fish to maybe to do something.
And Todd, like you were saying about running that figure 8, you know, a lot of times when you're following that ledge and you go off of that ledge and come back and you bring that bait back up, you know, on the side of that ledge, sometimes, you know, you're seeing fish that is going to hit that either on the top or when you come back off of that ledge. And if you're following it straight, sometimes you might not get that bite on that certain ledge.
You're exactly right.
And a lot of people, you know, probably doesn't do a lot of that. They normally hold a pretty straight line, but you know, I like, depending on what I see on my graph, might ride that ledge back up, come do a little loop about and come back off of it.
Yeah, you don't know how, like if they're laying on that ledge a certain way, they know where the bait's coming from, and that's how, I mean, that's the way you got to present it. The way
that's their highway. They travel a highway.
Yeah, so they're waiting on that bait to come to them. They're in an ambush. They're set up to ambush. They're not set up roaming around chasing stuff. They're waiting right there. They don't even really want to move very far.
No.
And
a lot of times, if I pull by a bunch of structure, if I see fish there, I'll cut my trolling motor off if a wind's right. And let it trip back through the structure again, you know, like real slow, and then cut my trolling motor back on and then pull back up through it.
Yeah. That's a good idea, man. It really is. And normally when you do that, you end up catching a lot of fish.
Yeah.
Kelby Madrid says that's a lot of hours to catch the big one. I mean, so yes, they feed for about an hour out of the day when they're that size. And, you know, that's why a lot of times when you see a giant fish, you're like, well, there's a giant fish. If we're going to catch him, he's right over here. And then you go over him and it's nothing. But, you know, if you're there at the right time with the right bait, you know,
he's going to eat.
Luck, but there's a lot more than luck. I mean, anybody can get lucky and catch one, but the longer you do it, you start to see they're to catch big fish. It's a lot.
Did he freeze up, Jamie?
Yeah, I think Chris.
Y'all got me?
I got you now, brother. It looks like a little staticky, but we got you. I think we lost you, brother.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. I got you back.
There we go.
Y'all are frozen.
It's a lot of hours.
It's, you know, a lot of people, you know, it's like a full-time job. You put so much time and effort in it, and a lot of times it pays off, a lot of times it don't, but you know, can't never get discouraged over it. You got to keep pushing forward, and sooner or later, you know, it's going to pay off. And when it does, it's going to be an unbelievable feeling, because I know it had to be for you, Todd. You know, your heart was probably racing out your chest. I mean, your hands was probably jumping around, you know.
Yeah, I was worried more about the fish than I was anything, believe it or not.
Yeah, because after all that work and all that, the last thing you want to do is, and I'm sure you're real big on CPR and big fish conservation, so the last thing you want to do is kill that damn thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
After all that, you want to make sure they swim off.
Especially, you know, a big fish like that after a good fight, you know, they're tired, they're worn down. And, you know, like you were saying, Todd, first thing you were thinking about is the fish, you know, staying in the water with them. And then you took care and got, you know, the big tub there until y'all got them weighed. So that was, y'all put in that time and your effort to make sure that was the number one goal, or you were going to turn it loose, you know, in order to save that fish. And, man, a lot of respect for you with that, brother. A lot of respect.
And good friends, you know, it's people. People work together on stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's good. Yes. You call somebody at 1:30 at night, you know. You know.
That's it, man.
And they answer. That's a friend, right?
Yeah.
Tom says he hadn't caught a fish over 25 in over a week. Well, Tommy, Spawn is on, buddy. I bet if you ran way up in the creeks, you could still catch some. But with all the rain we've had, man, they are running, buddy. They are running. There's still a few good ones that probably hadn't started yet, but party's just about over here.
Yeah.
It is that. We were spawning here too. Our water temperature is about 76, 77 degrees.
Yeah, we hit 79 one day, and then we had a cold front blow. Well, cold rain, 65-degree rain hit the inlets, so it cooled it back off. But I do see a lot of threadfin spawning, and guys are just smashing the eaters. I'm not seeing a whole lot of big fish being caught with them. So
Right.
I imagine they're all out making their nests, getting ready to do their thing.
That's it. I know the fish we caught Saturday night, Chris. I was telling you earlier, they were all scratched up. One of them, the whole top of the head right there, man, it was just rough.
They're nesting. They're building their nests.
Yeah.
Whether they're spawning already or not, they may not be spawning yet, but they're nesting. And when they nest, they'll build their nest, and then they'll go eat a little bit. So you can still catch them. But once they go on the nest, they're like, I got one thing in mind, and it ain't eating.
That's it, brother. That's it.
David Cochran says, what's up from Tennessee, Iowa? Just got back from the ARC experience. The ARC experience, is that floodwater experience or
he might have been talking about the Sea Arc. Well, that was the
Sea Arc.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That looked like a good time.
Yeah, we've been meaning to go to that, man, but we just haven't had that chance to get down there, and we've been so busy. I would love to go one year.
Billy Boy says they know when it's moving, their whole body and big tongue. They believe they can feel everything, vibration in the water, movement, incredible animals. Well, Bill, we've had Epic Catfish on 3 or 4 times, and he said that when he would keep them in the tank, when he would walk into the room quietly, the fish knew that he was walking into the room. When he would tiptoe in there, the fish would look at him. So, yes, they can sense vibration. And he said, man, you think they can sense that? He's like, when you close your truck door and step out at the boat ramp, all the fish in the area know you're there. So vibration is a big thing for fish, no doubt. And they're just now really studying that. So
it is.
It's amazing, man, what fish they know before we ever. I mean, they're just creatures of God, and it's just unbelievable what they can figure out.
And it's like these electronics now. When I'm running shallow water, I cut my ping off.
Yep.
For pinging in the water, running shallow water. These fish, they got to get used to it. Like it's live scope, I think a lot of
damn
fish
sure know your boat's there. They know when that big motor's. I saw a post this past week. Somebody said, does the motor scare catfish? And like, what was crazy to me is like there was 20 freaking guys that came on and said, no, the big motor doesn't spook catfish. I'm like, damn, I don't know what catfish y'all are fishing, but I can tell you damn sure catfish.
Yeah.
They are damn sure big motor shy. They're boat shy. They know when just the boat's going over them. And when you're shallow, you better not be banging around a whole lot because you'll see them just take off. So, I told them, 1,000% they're freaking motor shy.
Yeah, exactly right.
There's no doubt in my mind.
David was asking, do they ever strike just to protect their nest?
Well, yeah. Flatheads more so than blue cats, but yes, they'll. If you stick something down in a blue cat's face, they will bite it just like a flathead. So you'll see noodlers, hand fishermen catching giant blue cats, and that's how they do it. They stick their finger right in front of their face, and that blue cat bites them, and then they stick their other hand in their gill behind their gill plate, and they pull them out of there. And that's hand fishing. They're defending the nest. They are not eating. it's in a defensive mode to protect their spot.
Yeah. Y'all have a lot of that going on down towards your way, Chris? I figured y'all did. I've heard there's a lot of people.
Yeah, so Oklahoma's the biggest state for it, but Texas, it's gotten really popular because they made it legal like 6 or 7 years ago. Why I don't know, but they made it legal, and now I see guides starting about a month ago. They're like, get your guide trip ready for the spawn.
Right.
Time to start catching these big flatheads. They catch big
the ones that are on spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part where I wish they wouldn't do is when these fish, go up on their nests. I wish they would just be able to leave them alone, let these fish do what they're going to do and stuff. But I guess, Chris, y'all don't have a law against, when the fish are up on the nest down there?
No, I don't understand it. Texas is usually kind of a leader in regulating for fish conservation, but for whatever reason, they allow that. So
right.
They say it's a traditional way of fishing. The Indians did it, and they wanted to try to keep the traditional ways of catfish. That's why they protect juggers, which juggers,
that makes some sense.
They rape the freaking fisheries, man.
Yeah.
David Cochran says Noah's Ark, not the Sea Ark.
Oh, okay.
That's in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's in Kentucky.
All-day affair. Hell, you're gonna with as much rain as we've had, you're gonna need that damn thing.
I believe Kentucky got hit pretty hard up that way, didn't it?
They did not too long ago. They had a lot of flooding up there. I saw where some houses, had water coming in them and everything. Yeah.
Tom says he learned years ago to get the baits as far from the boat as possible. Catch way more fish that way.
I believe that.
I would agree with that. Especially like when you're dragging planer boards, you'll notice the ones that are out because I can see on my side image when I go over a bit. You typically don't see a lot of big fish on 2D. Occasionally you will, but majority of them have. As soon as you go over, they kick out, and when you see them on your side image, they're faced that way, which means the boat just went over them and they're heading out. And by the time I'm pinging them, there are just in my boat's 23 feet long, just in 23 feet, they kick out about 80 feet already. Mm-hmm. 80 feet in that 20 feet that my boat moves. When I go over them, they kick out. So yes, they spook out. And I think that's why those outside planer boards are super effective because it takes about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to get those baits over that fish you kicked out. And it's just enough time for that fish to kick out, to sit there and be like, all right, I'm away from that thing. Oh, wait, here's a bait. And he hammers that one. And I think that's why those particular boards do well.
And that's one of the things we hit on, Chris, when we were talking about on that show that night about those outside boards that's way out, how much a lot of action that you get on those boards compared to some of the other ones.
Best cook.
I see a lot of mine on down scan, straight down. As soon as you go over top of them, you'll catch them coming up.
Yeah.
Taking off across, coming from the bottom, shooting straight up.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And a lot of times too, depending on if you don't disturb them, you're going over with your electric motor. And a lot of times if I'm in kind of shallow water and I hit that with my electric motor, I'm running slow to try to be as sneaky as I can. And man, I'll tell you, those back rods right behind the boat, what they call my down rods right there, those pay off real good in situations like that also.
So my back rods, I send those damn things.
You like me? They might be 100
short kickers right out to the side. So
that's it.
And I think I do certain days for whatever reason, those two kicker rods just go crazy, dude.
Yep.
And when you get one on those, it's usually the funnest fight because they're just
down.
And that's it. Immediately knows he's hooked.
he's pulling drag. It's like, all right, fish on.
And that's a violent hit too, man. When those kicker rods get hit, man, that thing is just all drag. I mean, it's just violent.
Yeah. Your arm feels it too. That rod way out there.
That's it, man. That's it.
Your forearm starts burning.
Best Cook says, I actually raise my motor up in skinny water and splash with the rev. Look where the waves go, and I'll back off where I see them go and cast there. I have a high success rate doing that. And I've heard a lot of guys do that. They'll see where they kick out, and they kick out about 80 feet, and then they send baits to right where they see those
fish kick out.
Right there, just throw right on. And a lot of times, as soon as it hits the water, it's like fish on. So I've caught fish that way as well. I'm like, damn, look at that freaking wake. Send one over. Bam.
And you know, Chris, that's another reason I like that Sea Arc of mine. You know, with those pods on the back, I'm able to hit some pretty shallow water, and you know, be able to sneak up on these fish pretty quiet, because it takes a lot, you know, to make a noise on the side of those boats. You know, especially when you're in that shallow water, you're not getting a lot of that wave noise upside the boat and stuff.
Right.
So them pods on the back of those boats really pay off in good situations like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill says Chris has told me that the lines behind the boat don't catch near as many, and he runs them long exactly for that reason.
Yeah.
And he saw it numerous times firsthand on my boat. So that's true. That's true. Those ones that kick out catch way more big fish. Now, smaller fish, they're not nearly as spooked as big fish, but the bigger they get, the smarter they are. They know the boat's there. They damn sure know the big motor's running. They know the trolling motor's on. They know all of that. And the shallower you are, the more sensitive they seem to be.
Yeah.
Juan says, never heard of that vest. Gonna have to try it out.
Well, you see a lot of people catching big fish in kayaks.
Yeah, a lot of that is stealthiness. There's two things I think. It's stealthiness. One, because I know for a fact that big fish are boat shy, whether you got the damn motor on or not. They know that boat's there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If there's waves slapping up against the side of it, they damn sure know you're there. And I think that the really big ones, especially if they've been caught, they're like, oh, okay, that's a boat. I'm out of here.
Yep.
So,
and like you're talking about, Chris,
people don't take into consideration just how freaking smart these fish are.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually really, as far as fish go, catfish are very intelligent.
They're about like deer.
Oh yeah.
Very intelligent.
They're super trainable, whereas most fish aren't very trainable. But they're, if you were to throw like the bait stations, I got buddies that fish the bait station, or the cleaning stations, and just hammer big fish. And they're like, you think that fish just wandered up? I'm like, no, hell no, that fish stays there because there's guys cleaning fish there every day. He's just hanging out, getting easy meals.
Yeah.
They're smart.
They are.
Bill says the kayak doesn't spook them as bad. He guesses, but I do drift with a lot of line out. Further back my lines, the better they do.
I've got rods, Chris, with so a lot of the line on some of my rods that's just for my outer poles. You know, I let them out so far. I mean, you almost couldn't tell what color the thing is from there out so far.
So, Bill, if you're getting away from fish spook and why the longer lines work better, I believe it's just a smoother presentation. So, as you're swimming one through the water, and you're presenting it as an injured bait, because that's the beauty of dragging. That thing's injured, and it's like that. But if it's a short line, it's getting pulled up. It's doing weird crap that's not really a natural presentation. Where, as a fish is about to die, he's just got a little bit of life left in him, and I just, it seems like the better fish just like that, smoother. Now, occasionally that jerky presentation works, and
Yeah.
they like that. It's something that might trigger one, but over a longer period of time, those longer ones that are just pulling smooth and you don't see that rod doing a bunch of crazy stuff, those tend to do best.
I never thought catfishing would go this far in life where it is now. I mean, back in the day, you out there with shrimp, chicken livers, some small LYs, or
That's
you
it.
know, it's really come a long way. It has.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, man. Within the last, I'll probably say 8 years, and now especially within the last 4 years, it has completely done a 360. With even the technology, that's gone
Mhm.
into all the, the even the rigs you run. I mean, Todd, like we do with even the weights, have certain ways and stuff that work. I mean, it's just unbelievable that the time and the money that we spend in, learning about these catfish, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
A
mean,
lot of it is rigs. I mean, y'all make nice rigs, and a lot of it is the rigs you use. It's the like the flashy in it, the rattles, and everything. It's come a long ways. Yes.
and it never stops. We're constantly, I know us, but there's also other people always working on new inventions, new things, new ideas to take it to another level. And you think, well, how far can it go? I can tell you, man, this thing can go as far as the sky. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the limits. We're not done yet by no
It's
means.
like that rig you run a lot, Chris, with a skirt on it.
Yeah.
Salt water. I mean, it worked in salt water. And
Yeah.
now it works for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you never imagine that.
Yeah.
It's
How,
like,
why is it working on a saltwater fish? Well, don't you think these freshwater fish have kind of the same sensory
yep.
stuff, and like Jamie developed one with a spinner, and I said, well, all these guys are catching these big fish on these spinner baits and stuff. There ain't no bait on there. So what they must be attracted to that vibration of that spinner.
Yeah.
Now, do you need all this crap? No. I mean, you catch it off of a 6/0 hook and a a worm. Hell, a worm.
Yeah.
A big fish on a certain day, they'll eat the damn worm. But
Exactly
I
right.
think over time, things start working and you start keying in on different patterns, and everybody likes to fish a little bit different, and every lake's a little bit different. And trying new things is exciting to me. I like to try new things. And I like
Yeah.
it when something that's kind of unknown works. Something cool about that, and I think catfishing, it's been around a long time, but it's really just now where there's a ton of high level dudes that do it constantly, that are experimenting and raising the bar. Where it's going to go, hell, I don't know where it goes next, because it's moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
And Chris, I like fishing here in Myrtle Beach. I like fishing a lot of that saltwater, freshwater line stuff. And
Right.
with a lot of the stuff that we talk about, that we do or we try, when we hit that style of water, I might catch, who knows what I might catch. I could catch a drum, or, a catfish, or, you never know. And, we talk about some of the saltwater stuff coming to the freshwater. It works, man. I mean, it really
Pretty
does.
much everything that is in modern catfishing was not there 25 years ago.
Yeah.
No.
It's all new, and it's all come from saltwater. A lot of it's from you South Carolina guys. Some of it's from the coastal guys from here in Texas that fish for catfish, but they also go out into the blue water and fish.
Right.
So they're bringing what works in the blue water into the fresh water, and because big catfish are a lot different than most freshwater fish. They are similar to some other saltwater fish. So it makes sense to rig that way and to target them that way. And I think it's cool how fast it's changing. And 10 years ago, none of us used planer boards.
No.
About 9 years ago, I got my first set. Hell, now look, everybody's got them. We're all dragging planer boards with, a $12 rig behind the damn thing. And
yeah, you're right.
And Todd, you probably got guys that's now using your weights. I know we got guys that's using our weights, pulling for flounder, or they're out in, offshore using, our 10 ounces out there. It's not only freshwater, it's saltwater too. And it's awesome, man, to see that they're bringing also the freshwater stuff to the saltwater. It's crazy, man.
I got bass fishermen. I make sometimes drop shot rigs for drop shotting. They use them some for drop shotting. Like you said, it's different.
It's like a takedown weight, but it's like a little shorty.
Yeah, a little shorty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So normally those drop shotters, they use like a torpedo or something like that, right?
Right. Or a regular little pencil weight.
Yeah.
The drop shot.
Okay.
A lot of them do it 40, 50 feet, over top of fish, bass, and stuff. But I mean, it works for them, so they like it. But you was talking about planer boards when they first come out. It's kind of funny. My wife used to get mad at me. Drifting was a thing, and I would mark fish and run down lines like almost on bottom, a couple clicks up. And I would drift over and fish. Without a trolling motor. I'd catch a wind, drift over them, crank the motor up, turn back around, drift back over them again until I get them to bite.
That's it.
It's kind of crazy. It's come a long way. It has.
It has. Even the, just some, when you talking about, we got bass fishermen that uses our Carolina rattles, it's just crazy at the different styles of fishing. And, now that it's interacting, bass fishermen using catfishing stuff, and we've learned some stuff from the bass fishing side of it. It's awesome to see that. It really is.
It is.
Matt Carter says it attracts the fish. I always run some sort of rattle when I drag, and I'm the same way. I pretty much run a drag. I mean, hell, even when I anchor fish, and I know there's not a whole lot. I still run one anyway, just because. I mean, I feel at this point there is something to a rattle. I've caught enough fish that they only had the rattle in their mouth. They didn't even attack the bait. They just had the rattle. And back when I had demon dragons that were like hand painted by Scott Manning, there wouldn't be any paint left on the damn thing. Fish would paint off of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, they like this rattle. I mean, damn, maybe you ought to just put a hook and a rattle on. About the
bait. And that's the best thing about EVA phones now. They can't crush them like they old.
Yeah, that's it, man. I love the EVA phone floats. They're unbelievable. They really are.
John Bubba New says quack, quack, quack attack.
Yeah, John's got them planer boards out there with the ducks made out of the decoys.
Yeah, I told him I want to set them as soon as he
be
dives
careful
them
not
in.
Driving too close to shore if you're here in Texas, because some of these dudes will blast your planer boards out of the lake.
He comes up with some crazy stuff. He does.
He does.
That was a neat idea he did, though. That was a real good
They
idea.
look like they pull good.
Yeah. He said he ain't got them. I talked to him at Santee. He said he ain't got them dialed in quite yet. I told him I want to see it as soon as he get them right, because I like to have a set of them.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
Let me ask you a question. Do y'all have certain type of seasons y'all have better luck off the rattles and than others?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I run rattles year round. Now I really tell you the truth. I catch bigger fish in the wintertime, but I catch also big flatheads in the summertime with using rattles also. So myself, I don't think I have a season here locally. Rattles work here year round for us. Now,
I'd say the same here. I mean, I've been
Right.
using rattles for about 15 years. I was one of those that just had to test them and all that crap. But I've just, at this point, I'm just putting the rattle on because they work.
Yeah.
I can't say, certain days I would catch the same fish without the rattle. But on a certain day, if I don't have the rattle on, the one, like, I don't know that I'd even catch a fish because they're
Right.
not attracted. They're not turned on. There's something that on a certain day that really makes them want to go after that damn thing. And
Yeah.
I rig them up a variety of ways. They typically want a certain way, certain day. They'll go
Right.
after the certain one. One day it'll be a lot. So I thought, like a lot of guys, oh, this rattle needs to be loud. So I got some loud, like my demon dragons are loud as hell. And those catch a lot of fish. But on a certain day, I got some ones that just got one slug in them.
Right.
Single slug. That thing barely makes any noise, but
Right.
it makes a little bit.
yeah,
But on that certain day, I catch every damn fish on that one rig. It's one
Yeah.
rod, and it's all on that one. It's got to be that damn rattle because that's the only one they're hitting, and the rest they just leave alone. Now, if I didn't have any, I tell the guys a lot of times, if I didn't have anything on, would I still catch these fish? It's possible. Yeah, it's a good chance I would, but I do know that. They definitely will go after one of those rattles over one without a rattle. And my buddies, I've had enough guys on the boat. They're like, I'm just going to bring my rods and see if my rigs produce as well as yours. And by about halfway through the morning, they're like, hell with my rods. Get your rods on here, dude.
Yeah.
I can tell you,
12 or 20 to none.
97
on my side of the boat.
97% of my rods have rattles on them. The other one, I might be trying something different without a rattle, but 97% of mine does have rattles. And I can tell you, it's those rods I catch the majority of the fish off of.
I believe this, though, Todd. If you're a precision anchorer, I don't know that a rattle's going to help. Is really going to make a huge difference. If you can precision anchor on specific fish,
Right.
it's there. They know it's there. You're anchoring on that fish. It's just different than when you're trying to entice one that might be 8 feet over there.
Yeah.
Come hit that damn thing.
Reason I asked, I run spinners too. And I got some I run spinners, some I run rattles. Some I run just to float, and that's it. But like in spring and summer and towards the beginning of the fall, I have more luck off my spinners than I do the rattles. Some reason, I don't know why.
It's the vibration.
No flickering, like a shad or something like that,
Yeah.
Todd, on those that you run, you don't have a rattle at all on those?
No, I don't.
Because
If I tell you what it is, it's gonna be funny. Somebody's gonna probably get mad at me. Fishing partner, but it's a buzz bait.
Yeah, we got.
It's a buzz bait.
What,
I mean,
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. We got one we're testing right now. Hell, I'm gonna say it, Jamie, because why not? We got one that runs on the top water that's been freaking hammering fish. It's a top water catfish rig.
I believe it.
With a buzzer. And when you look at it, you can see that buzz. It spins about like this. Jamie's pissed.
He's like, hey man, somebody's gonna be mad at me. A bunch of people.
I don't give a shit.
But me either.
Every time that thing spins, you can see the top of that spinner comes out in a little ripple. I said that ripples what they like right there. That every time that spinner hits the surface, it goes.
Yep.
And it's about that slow. I'm like, okay. And it actually catches fish. So Jamie,
and it might be like shad. it might be like they thinking a shad forensic or something when that ripple hits the water.
Man.
You know, like feeding fish.
Yeah.
You know?
And I can
when
tell you,
sad sipping. You
Yeah.
know, they just
Yep. Like a carp. Yep.
Yep. and I can tell you, I've been doing a lot of
makes a
testing.
little ripple. I think that's all that really is necessary. They say that the newest catfish studies say that vibration is the number one sense that they use. It's 10,000 times stronger than other freshwater fish. So they can sense muscle movement in bait fish. So I believe that vibration is like, oh, there must be a some shad up there sipping.
Yeah.
I can tell you,
check it out and look. Oh, there's something that's half dead. Let me go ahead and eat that.
Yeah.
we've been testing a lot at nighttime here locally, 2 to 3 foot of water, and it has just been. I've got pictures, been just killing the catfish at night, and it's really something that you wouldn't have never thought. I mean, that would be like, wow, this is crazy, but man,
I believe it.
So, it's just a theory because I caught a lot of big fish this winter on the top. Even in the freaking heart of winter when I'm fishing in 40, 45 feet, I would catch a fish on the surface while my stuff's going out. And I'm like, huh. And then late in the winter, I was reeling one in with the planer board and the rig behind it. And while the thing was on the surface, a 38-pounder hammered that thing when I was reeling it back to the boat. And I caught the fish. I'm like, damn, topwater fishing. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I used to fish a lot of bass tournaments back in the day. I caught a lot of catfish off bass rigs, spinnerbaits, buzz baits. I mean, and I started thinking that buzz bait, but I only have good luck with them during the spring and some of the year.
That was my idea. But when I caught most of the good fish, Todd, I was fishing deep.
Yeah.
I was on the surface. And so I started looking, and guys are like, man, we use some shallow rigs when we're dragging deep. And sometimes on certain days, the shallow, they actually are feeding up on the surface. And I mean, I guess they can sense it's up there. They'll run up there and hit that damn thing.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing fish on the surface on my graph. They're all down here, but they'll go up there and hit that damn thing. Which
I believe. Well, they feed up. That's their nature.
Yeah. They.
I fished a lot of shallow water, and a lot of it's 2 foot, and I run a leader is 2.5, 3 foot.
Yeah.
And my cork will be on top of the water. You can see it.
Yeah.
In the back with a bait. And all of a sudden you hear something like a bass as a catfish wobble. I mean, just slamming it and just starts, splashing on top of water. I mean, I love that shallow water bite. I mean, it's
a very violent hit, man. I mean, it almost scare you sometimes.
I was startled when we were catching fish on that thing. I'm like, damn, that was. I was like, that wasn't our biggest fish, but that was our most exciting fish.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that was just something different about catching them on the surface.
Yep.
We'll be getting some calls Monday morning on this one, Chris.
Sorry, man.
I'm sorry I brought it up. I'll be getting some calls as soon as I get off of here. I can't believe you told somebody about that bait.
Hey, Todd, great minds think a lot in a lot of ways, man. We're all behind the scenes always. Like I said, always putting in that work, never stopping, always trying to improve the game. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, it's like, we do, even in the drifter weighting business, you're always trying to improve the game and stuff. It's amazing how far you can really go.
Jamie's when I came on with Carolina Lightweights about 3 years ago, he's we're going to try to make some different rigs and stuff. I was like, well, I got some top secret shit. I hadn't been letting out the bag, and I was like, I don't tournament fish anymore. I'll be willing to just, let's make them,
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been making them, and the guys are buying them up because they work. I mean, they work.
Yeah, they work.
Yeah.
Work. That's what we're.
That spinner, that teaser rig right there, I guarantee you that damn thing works. Now, it may not be the best rig on every day, but on a certain day, I don't know why. I mean, well, I do. I've got an idea. It puts out a little bit of a flutter, kind of like a fillet.
Right.
You know, it's like having a fillet on there. I just think they can sense this in the water. It don't even have to be this. It could just be this. They can sense that. It's just like, I'm gonna go check it out, and when they go check it out, there's like a headpiece sticking like in the middle of that. Like, I'm gonna eat that.
And Chris,
it catches their eye. I mean, that's what you want, something to catch your eye.
That's and our people know, man. That's why they like this show. We're going to tell it. I mean, it's going to come out. You know, that's why they love watching us. We're going to tell you the truth, what we're knowing that's working and stuff. You know, we're here to help everybody, and you know, we can only sit on something for so long, and you know.
Yeah, you know, I can't keep the secret.
Well, I hope it works good out for y'all. I hope it does. But it works. I mean,
it does.
Know,
it does.
I tell anybody.
Dan, well, is liable to catch a state record largemouth bass on it. Well, Dan, if you do, don't cut that one up for bait.
Oh man, I love having fun, man. This is a lot of fun, guys. It really is.
Corey Whaley says, "What's good, everyone?"
What's up, Corey?
I gotta step out for me to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. Paul Dillon Anderson says, "I don't run rattles at all unless flooded water. At least where I'm at, I feel they don't attract bigger fish. Sometimes no hits at all on rigs with them." Well, I can tell you what a rattle. The sound that it mimics is the sound of a bait fish in distress. And what bait fish in distress does is it attracts the biomass of catfish. So anytime you've got bait fish that are being predated by predatorial game fish like striper, sand bass, hybrid, black bass when they school up, if they're hammering bait fish like shad, they're going to put off a sound that sounds like a click, 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 click. And they are attracted to it. So there's recent studies been done on it with just sounds where they just put the speaker in the water and the fish come to the sound. It's the sound of bait fish being predated. So it's not just theory, or it's actually been proven that they are attracted to it. And that's why they're coming to look at it. They don't think this is a rattle. No, they're coming to it thinking, man, there's something going, there's something being predated on over here. Let me go see if I can get me an easy meal. Jackson, Mom's calling you.
It's kind of like the thumper boxes, Chris. You know, they use in catching the bait and stuff. You know, they bring that bait, and you know it's wild, man, how it works.
Thumper was invented here in Texas, Lake Texoma, with Bobo's thumper. He was the first. They make a thumper that's got a hammer in it. That's just it's just like this rotating thing, and you can change the speed of it. And what it mimics is striper or sand bass or hybrids on the surface hitting shad. Like popping. If you're ever around it, you can hear it. Pop, 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 pop. Mm-hmm. And it's that popping sound. So that hammer mimics that popping sound. And guys are like, oh, I could see, you know, maybe eaters. Well, no, now guys are catching trophy catfish with a freaking thumper. Yep. So turn the thumper on, there'll be hardly anything around. They'll see a few fish in the area. You turn the thumper on, all the fish come straight underneath the boat and they fish straight down. And they're catching big ass fish. So fish are attracted to, you can call it sound, but really it's a vibration. It's like there's something in them that senses that vibration. It's that deal in their ear that's connected to their air bladder, and that air bladder magnifies vibration and sound, and makes them where they can key in on a bait fish in distress. That's why if there's white bass feeding on shad, you're going to find catfish all around them. They're keyed into that distress. If there's shad spawning up shallow, they can hear that and they come to it. They're magnetized to it. So that's the theory, but there's also a lot of science behind it finally now. So
You might think I'm crazy, but I'm not lying about this. When I used to do a lot of flathead fishing in the river, if I hadn't gotten a bite in a while, I used to get my net and hit the water.
yeah.
God honest truth. And sometimes it worked and a bite. I get a bite. That's God honest truth. It sounds like bait.
We've had some guys on here that were big, like specific flathead anglers, and they said they would they keep a clonk in the boat.
Yep.
And they clonk the side of the boat. And that's what, before the thumper, guys would do that with like a paddle or, just something.
Yep.
Bump, 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 and they would bang
hit the water
to get the fish to pay attention and come over there and get underneath the boat. So.
And Chris, you hear a lot about the bite, a boat bite. When a boat comes by, it's got them waves coming off of it.
Yeah.
And then when it hits your boat, it does this. It takes some rods.
I've noticed when a boat drives by, fish aren't scared of the motor. Well, if you go over them, yes, they are scared of the motor, but there is something to being in an area when a boat goes by.
Yeah.
That the fish that you're on might be attracted when that wave comes by and makes a disturbance.
Yeah.
Those fish will bite, but when you go over one, those fish are disturbed and get the hell out of there. So I've noticed that as well. When a big boat comes by, I'll get if I'm on fish and they're not really biting too good, a lot of times that's when we'll catch one. When we start getting, the boat starts doing all of this. I think there's something to that, but
that's it.
Yeah. I tell you what, thumper's a dangerous tool, especially striper fishing.
Yeah.
White perch. I've used a white perch. Yes.
You're right, brother. I mean, a lot of people back in the day, how my grandfather was when I went fishing. I said, man, don't make a noise. Don't don't do nothing. And then now you got a box that's in the boat sitting there, bam, bam. My grandfather would pass out if he just seen something like that on a boat.
That's right.
But it works, man. It's crazy. I mean, like I said, everything's always revolving, and catfishing, has definitely come a long ways, and it's crazy. It really is.
Yes.
And
I got one.
Oh, he's got the box.
Now we're speaking his language over here. Look at.
So for guys that don't know what one is, I'm going to show you what one is. This is a crazy contraption. This is a thumper. You can see right here, this is a hammer. This is the hammer. And it's got this motor that goes bump, 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 bump. And I can.
And it will drive you crazy on a boat. Listen.
It's not cool, but I use it to get bait when I'm getting big baits. And it's got this dial right here. And you can change the
speed,
how fast it thumps.
Yeah.
And you find some fish in an area and there will be a few fish. You turn this son of a bitch on and the underneath the boat just lights up.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. I was skeptical because I thought when I, like Jamie said, when I was a kid, my dad said, "Shit, be quiet. You're going to scare all the fish off." And there's something to that. If you're shallow water catfishing, you want to be quiet. But out there deep, man, banging around's a good thing.
That's right.
Someone in the chat's probably going, man, I tell you, I'm learning a lot tonight out here. John Young's asking.
Said Todd caught two good ones Thanks to that boat bite last tournament.
He got mad.
Right back.
I told Tommy, I was like, man, I told Tommy where them fish were. And I caught that one. I told him drag up by there. It was 2 more there. And he drug there and he's like, man, I see them fish. I can't catch them. And daggone, we didn't, after we finished weighing in, come back, we pulled back over that same spot and caught one of them fish. He's like, man, that ain't right.
Todd, did you tell him he was just warming it up for you to get when you get back over there?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Todd, man, I tell you, you and your wife, we were talking earlier, are amazing people.
I appreciate
What
it.
do you really enjoy about this business? I mean, what drove y'all to want to really get into it and stuff, man?
The fishing community.
I have to say, for me, it's fellowshipping with everybody.
Yeah, the fishing community and
Getting
fellowship.
to meet new people and
Because I can talk fishing for hours and
Oh, yeah.
hours and hours. And she will tell you, I will see somebody out and I don't today with us on this business, I don't never say nothing about the business, nothing when I see people, And I have a lot of people come up and say, hey, do you want to take down Draggin weights, don't you? I say, yeah, we'll have a conversation. But a lot of people, especially at the boat ramp, because I'm manning out the boat ramp 3 or 4 times a week fishing. And I see people, man, and it's the fellowship with people fishing. I feel God has led me. We moved down here. I moved down here several years long back before me and her met. And then I moved back home to help my mom and everything. And then I told my mom, I was like, look, my passion is to live on a lake. I love a lake. So we got back down here and I'm here to stay. I transferred my job and everything. And, I just feel like God just the water is just people talking about fishing and everything. This business now we own, I could just talk for days and days and days with people, just fellowship with them. And that's what I enjoy doing. It's no matter what kind of fishing they doing, bass fishing, crappie fishing, striper, whatever. It's just the people I meet, to tell you the truth. It is. It's not about the money. It's nothing about the money. And yourself, you're in the business too. It's heartache.
It is. It is.
Time consuming. It's heartache. And you try to make your customers happy much as you can. You try to please them. But
we got some awesome customers.
yeah, we do have awesome customers, but it's just I believe it's a fellowship. I do.
Todd, I'm gonna say, me and Rebecca, we've been very blessed. We both doing this now full time here at Carolina Lake Weights, and we've been very blessed. We both had good jobs, and just like you said, the good Lord, said, hey, if you don't take a chance, you don't know, and we took that chance, and we've been blessed to have good customers, and Chris, helping us along the way, have a heck of a family. We call it our family, but I can tell you, me and Rebecca has become so close. It has brought us closer together in a lot of different ways that you couldn't even imagine. We
Right.
fish together, we're work together. A lot of people say, man, I can't be around mine that much, but it's not like she don't get on my nerves or nothing like that. I mean, we enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
We lay there at night and she's like, oh man, I need to go do some work, and here she back out in the shop. It's just unbelievable. And
Yeah.
like I said, I'm so happy to see y'all guys, husband and wife, doing what y'all do, and it's just amazing. It really is.
Yeah. And it's hard working 2 regular jobs and doing this too.
Mhm.
It's time you get off, time we get off work, and everything, and plus family lives 2 hours away. If I gotta go see family, or or you want to go fishing or something, it's like a never stop ending thing. You know,
That's
it's,
it.
It's a never
and
ending blessing.
it's a blessing, like she said, it is. But you know, I would never ask for it if I didn't want to do it, and I love
That's
it.
it. And
I can say I love it. And, you know, I consider all y'all my family. You know,
that in this
it
same
don't matter. We the same people
yep.
today. You know what I'm saying?
That's
We're the
it.
same
That's it.
people. It don't matter what you support or what you know what you make or whatever. Hey, we all family. You know?
That's right. And that's why I like this show tonight. You know, it I believe this, you know, people's gonna take a lot from this show tonight. You know, we've talked about fishing just like sitting, you know, we said earlier around a burn barrel, just, you know, cutting
Yeah.
it up, talking. And we can sit here just like brothers, you know, that we are in this
Yeah.
industry. This you know, it has its times. Let me say that. The industry has its times, and we wish every day could be, you know, the best in
Yeah.
this industry, but you know how it goes. And you know, you talk about the customers. You know, I got customers that's called me all the way up to 1 o'clock in the morning, but I wouldn't give nothing up. I'll answer that phone for them. I mean, and help them in any way I can. And I know
And it's a
y'all.
blessing. It's a blessing. Y'all get to travel now to these different uh shows and stuff. You know, and hey, man, I'm glad y'all doing it. I mean, you
It's a
know,
lot of work. You know that.
yeah, I'm sure it is. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours y'all do. But you know, it needs somebody like y'all. Y'all well deserved. Y'all need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all good people. You know.
And I
Uh,
appreciate that. And I'm gonna tell you, you said the one thing a while ago. It's not about the money because I can promise you, you spend more than this what you make. I can promise you that. I mean,
yeah,
there's days that you're like, man, can I make the light bill something? You know, you know,
yeah,
it's like that. It really is. And you know, like I said, the good Lord's blessed us to be able to do a lot of that traveling. And it's like I said, it's a never nonstop all the time, and
that's right.
I wouldn't have it in neither other way. And you know, I couldn't do it. Like I said, I've got my right hand man right there, Chris. You know, he's my brother. I mean, you know, anytime he ever needs anything or I need anything, we're on the phone talking. And same way with you and your wife. You know, y'all could call us, we could call you, and I
Yeah.
love that, man.
And I
Next
called
time,
you the other morning about the tournament. You know, you was
Yep,
eating breakfast.
yes,
So
sir.
you sponsor a flathead tournament. And I certainly appreciate it, man. I really
Hey,
do. I
that's
really
the way
do.
it should be, brother.
Yeah.
That's
tell
the way
me
it should
next
And
be.
time.
anything you need me to do, or you or Chris, you just let me know. I mean, I'm just a phone
That's it.
call away. And y'all need to come down here and fish with me. I mean,
We, hey,
seriously,
bro, we
man.
definitely do. We
I
So
live
definitely do.
right on the lake.
it
And
starts out about being about them fish, but it rapidly changes, or not changes, but it opens your eyes to it's about so much more. It's about brotherhood. It's about giving back. It's
yeah,
about passing it on to the next generation. I think it's cool
Doing
to be
something
around people that have that same type of mindset. They're passionate about the fish, but they really like uh, the brotherhood aspect of it, which, that's what a lot of us are looking for.
yeah.
In a fishing type of community, it's the brotherhood, it's the camaraderie, it's the I know one thing, like I'm sure you have the same sense, but like Carolina Lake weights, a lot of our guys are willing to help strangers. Uh,
Hmm.
Anybody that's asked for assistance, I like being around people like that. I have a sense that y'all got pretty much almost an identical type of thing going on over there in your camp.
Yes, sir, we do.
Why
Yeah,
we get along so well.
yeah.
There's no animosity. There's really no competition. It's all just fishing, having fun, and trying to figure out the next step where we're going.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah, it is, and it's good. You know, we could get along. Everybody can get along about this. I mean, it's like I tell everybody, we're grown men out here. We got Chris's kids watching us.
We gotta be
We
an
got my
example.
grandkids watching us. You know, all these other kids are watching us grown folks and
Yep.
watching what we do. Because kids pay attention to a lot of stuff. They
Yeah,
do.
you don't realize how much they really are keyed in on this stuff, and they are. And I think it's important not everybody's going to be that way, Todd, but
No.
to surround yourself with the right people, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Try to lead by example and try to be a good role model for the next ones that are coming up. Present a framework for people to do things the right way.
Right.
That's what it's about, like you just said, Chris. To get that framework, and show everybody, hey, it doesn't have to be this way. It can be just like what you see right now, and that's something that a lot of people will grow more respect for you in those ways. Of what they're seeing right now, and that's what it's all about. It really is.
And I hope what we did tonight brings this. Go ahead, Chris.
I think we're all students of the game, but you're also willing to help the guy that's trying to move up to the, to where you guys are at. So I like being around people like that who are open, willing to share. Don't feel closed off because somebody's trying to get their information. Fishing is competitive. I get it. There's a competitive type of deal with it, but I'm not super competitive in my fishing. I like to catch big fish. I like to see my friends catch big fish. And I like to be around people that are willing to help. I think it's cool that you guys are similar natured to me. That's probably why we get along so well. So
yeah.
Todd, I know it's been in this business ourselves here for a little over 4 years now, and I can tell you, myself and Rebecca and Chris, all of everybody, we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of people come and go. We've seen a lot of things. We've seen a lot more than I wish we could go through in a lot of ways. But it's only make you stronger. You learn from your mistakes.
Right.
And I feel now that, we're all leading the way now. Tonight, everybody can say, wow, it's amazing. This is how it should be led right here. And that's amazing to me. It really is.
And I hope it does open people's eyes about this industry. Maybe it help it a whole lot to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I mean,
y'all are leading by example.
Yeah, we're here to get along. We're in the same business. Me and you in the same business,
That's right, brother. That's it, man. It's amazing. I mean, you got your styles, we have our styles, but it's all for the same thing, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, well, mine's better, yours is better. It doesn't have to be like that. It's like, people have their things they like, and, it's different styles that people like.
Yeah. My wife hears me a lot, and there's no dragging weight, no rod company I knock or nobody on the market. It's instance of dragging weight, and I tell them it's anybody's preference. It's what you want to use, what you comfortable with, whatever you're comfortable with
for you.
That's right.
What gives you confidence? And
right.
I'll tell you this, Todd. I could use 5 different rods and catch all the same fish.
Yep. Exactly right.
5 different dragging weights catch all the same fish.
Exactly right.
Hooks catch all the same fish. It's just what I like for the way I like to do it, and I don't knock other guys, and I don't say, man, mine's the greatest freaking thing in the world either, because other guys are better anglers than me, and that's working great for them. So I just tell guys, it's what works for me at a high level, and I think that's kind of the way it should be. Catfishing industry's kind of got cutthroat here in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. Yeah. I'm hoping that it'll as it continues to progress, guys can get past this competitive. I'm competing against. It's going to keep growing, guys. There's going to be new guys coming in. There's plenty of room. I promise you, there's plenty of room for everyone. If you don't try to dog out your the guy who's making the same crap as you, just
better bless them by building them up.
But it's my wife jumps on me at night. I watch YouTube. I watch fishing all the time, catfishing. I love to learn from different people.
Yep.
I love to pick up different things from different people. That's how I learn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't go out here and say I know it all. I know how to do it. I don't know. I don't know
Nah,
half.
there's really no way you'll ever know it all, Todd.
No. And I want to learn from different people, and that's how I feed off, and then I'll bring back whatever works for me.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah,
That's it, brother.
yeah, that's the best way to be right there. That's the best way to be.
Yeah, John Wayne, give me a call, brother. We'll get together and hit some flathead tips for the walk 'em all. I'll be more than happy to talk with you, man. I can tell you, we did pretty well with them Saturday night, just not the great big ones. So yeah, definitely get with me, brother.
Now, do you fish the Santee Lake?
The nests,
Huh?
them great big ones, I bet are starting to think about nesting.
They are, man. Saturday night was tough. We did get into a couple good ones, but you know how that goes. Should have, could have done it this way, but the great big ones are really starting to hit that nest.
Yeah.
But,
Tommy Ruffin says unity. That's what I'm seeing, and I love it.
yes, sir, brother.
Tommy's good people.
Yeah.
Yes.
We love Tommy. We love JT. We're going to keep doing it, Tommy. We're going to keep doing it the way we like it. You know, it upsets a certain amount of guys, but that's fine. If they want to be upset about it, then they can be upset about it. But we're going to keep doing it. And, you know, we'll try to like Jamie said, I got a 9-year-old. I'm trying to be a good example for him. I see a lot of things in the catfish industry that I don't like, that I want to try to shield him from, protect him from, but also, you know, teach him to how to deal with it when he's presented with it. Because at a certain point, he's going to be his own man, and he's going to have to deal with it. I'm hoping that we can get things pointed in the right direction with enough good guys leading the way, showing the way how it should be done. Hopefully it'll get, you know, it'll continue to improve.
I hope it will.
Well, anything you guys want to promote other than Takedown Draggin Draggin weights.com, CarolinaLakeWeights.com. What else, boys? Y'all got tournament coming up. Y'all are on.
What's that?
What's that going to be?
I didn't hear you. You was breaking up.
I got a tournament coming up. Y'all are teaming up on. So what?
May 31st. Yes, Flathead Brawl.
Flathead Brawl. What's the fishery?
Kerr Lake.
Kerr Lake.
Yeah.
There
Two
you go.
fish weigh in. Yeah. We got a tournament this weekend, matter of fact, and we got 2 tournaments right in a row. Got one this weekend and then one next weekend, and weekend after that it's our turn.
That's awesome, man. Busy schedule for you, brother.
Yeah, I help out Tommy Bugs out of Monster Cats on that one and all them. So yeah, it's a pretty good tournament trail. It is.
Chris, I basically want to say, man, Todd, I appreciate you coming on tonight, you and your wife, man. Y'all good people. I love what we've done tonight. I think I've had a blast, and I hope this takes it to the next level. People, you know, can honestly, you know, I've got the utmost respect for Todd and y'all, you know, over there.
Same here.
And you know, I hope, like I said, you know, this sort of show people you can work together in every way there is. You know, and I love that, man.
And I really appreciate you putting in for a tournament too.
Hey, anytime, brother. Anytime. We're
and
more
having me on, Chris, Jamie.
Hey, Todd, it's my pleasure, man.
Anytime.
We should have had you on sooner, but you know, we'll get you on again. We'll talk fishing tactics more next time. But we just got into the meaty stuff tonight, which I like. So,
well, I certainly appreciate it, y'all. I do.
And And I want to say thank you to everybody in chat, man. I hope y'all have had as much fun as we have. I appreciate y'all supporting the Slime Show every Wednesday night. It's been unbelievable at the ride that we've been on, Chris. I forget how many episodes we're up to now.
89. We're rapidly approaching 100 episodes. Who'd
Wow,
ever
man.
thought? Catfish addicts.
We've come a long ways.
How did
20
that
weeks
come
in a row.
If we got
Damn.
time, how did that come about? The Slime Show.
Well, Chris, you want to tell them how the Slime Show come about, man?
I mean, we had seen some other shows, and we thought, well, I mean, we would like to try to take it up a notch, where it was more about the more interests. I don't
Right.
not the intricate parts of trophy catfishing to try to help our guys. When I say our guys, the guys that were kind of following along with what we were doing, to try to help them become better anglers.
Right.
So that we could answer questions. We could have guys that could come on that could, from different parts of the country, who were really doing something to try to help maybe somebody who's trying to figure something out, get it figured out. It really was just about trying to help people become better anglers. I told Jamie at the beginning of the show, I was like, if there's one thing I want to get out of the show, it's that we help people become better anglers. And if we can do that, then the show will be a success. I feel comfortable with what we've done. We get a lot of great feedback from guys saying this is their best year ever by listening to the Slime Show. What's up, buddy?
And I love how people say they go back, from a while back, they rewatch the episodes and, and learn from it and stuff. And we, we love hearing stuff like that. And it's been a blessing. It really has. It's brought great joy to myself, and I know Chris, to be able to give back.
Yeah.
It really has.
And I do. Some nights I don't get to watch it, and I might go 2 or 3 days and go back into it and look at it. 'Cause, I mean, you really do have a lot of good pointers, and fishing tactics on here. It's a really good show.
We appreciate that. We try to have a variety of guys from different parts of the country that could add something to help. I've learned a lot. I've become a better angler from listening to the guys that have come on. So,
yeah,
I think it's been successful. We're having fun doing it. So that's really,
that's it. That's it, man.
Yeah.
We've made a lot of friends, Todd. We've made a lot of good friends from people coming on. So,
yeah, that's a good thing. Like, you meet good friends and different people, different part of countries. Some of them, like half a year, they can't even fish up north.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys I got up north is, I sell weights to, they ain't started fishing about a month ago. Their weather just got right.
That's it.
It's crazy. Our fishing's about over, and some of these guys are just starting.
Yeah, it is.
But
right, guys. Well, Jamie, it's been fun. Todd, appreciate you coming on, buddy.
I enjoyed it, fellas.
I know who I'm calling to fish.
Y'all need to get down here and come fishing with me.
Yeah,
that's it, bro. We're gonna have to do it.
It's a heck of a fishery, I tell you. It is.
Yeah, it's something special. When I get up there, I'll be hollering at you.
Come on up anytime.
All right, guys. Tight lines. God bless. Azul out.
Later, everybody.
Later.